veer that way, especially as we just heard about those market stats. But why would you want to listen to me even? And Jeff's intro is very sweet, and I appreciate him. And the fact that he has that same mindset of value add. He always wants to impact lives, and so much so that he's invited you to this session. And we're going to brainstorm on how to set you on the right trajectory to not only finish out 2022 at looking at the goals that you set and or the ones that you haven't reviewed, but or maybe you do, but really launching you into 2023. So let me just kind of go to what Jeff just said, because I'm also teaching a class, Create a Lead now, and I work with a lot of realtors. I coach businesses, and this economy is affecting everybody's mindset. When we do an inventory of money, time, energy, and mindset. And the choices that you make today are the results that you're going to get tomorrow. So as Jeff's talking about this market and this shift, I want to tell you guys, I'm in Arizona right now. I'm at my daughter's apartment, and I'm attending a conference to better my skill set because I'm working towards always that forward momentum. But I'm also here and I'm pending on a secondary property in Airbnb. I'm in backup position, and I came down about a month ago to search. I'm shopping. I'm a realtor, and I'm shopping for real estate right now. I think it's a fabulous time to buy because of lenders like Jeff, where we can actually work with them to buy down a rate versus asking a seller to make a price reduction of 30, 40, 50,000, depending on the market that you're in. That percentage based on their loan type of 1%, 2%, 3% of what the seller can contribute is their payment, right? But here's something, I'm a numbers gal, and I love numbers. Jeff does too, obviously. I went to my association, and I've been in business since 2005. And I went to my association, and right now, over 40% of the realtors in my association have been in the business 4 years or less. What I want to tell you is that a lot of realtors are at home with a Haagen-Dazs, a pint of Haagen-Dazs and a spoon, and they're about to pull the covers over their head. And this is our opportunity. You are here today. You're investing in you and in your business, and a win. You're a winner already for just having shown up. So as those realtors drop off and their buyers come to me because the realtor's at home eating ice cream, I can let them know that we have the strategies, that I have a lender partner that's going to be able to help me get them to build wealth in real estate while showing them the history of opportunity by buying now, right? And by selling now. And so by furthering our education, and we're going to jump into a little bit of how to do that and some strategies, you are investing in yourself, but you're impacting lives through the clients that you are serving today. And if you're here and you're a business owner and you're not within the real estate realm, you're looking at that economy. Everybody that I coach to always is looking for the next client. That client shifts. COVID shows up in our world, and the sky is falling, Chicken Little's running around, and you know what? We came through. We're fine. Interest rates go up. We're fine. The economy is changing. Inflation is going up. Unemployment. We're going to be fine if we choose to do all the right next things to make us successful in our business and the impact of the lives that we affect in our business. So we are going to win. Yeah, baby. Let's do this. So planning to win is really looking at setting a goal. So as I said, what you put your focus on today is going to be your results of tomorrow. And you guys aren't looking for a pint of Haagen-Dazs except for maybe on vacation in Cabo for a week, because you just earned the right to do just that. So what we want to do though is see what's in the way now. So what I want to do is I kind of want to see who's in the room. So I'm going to pull up my chat. Who do I have in this group that's a realtor? Who do I have that's not a realtor? Who do I have in the room? Who am I talking to today? Let me get my chat back up. Put it in the chat room really quick for me. Realtor, love it. Realtors. Anybody not a realtor? Do I have title? Do I have lenders? Do I have Plumbers do I have? Landscapers. Who do I have? Ooh, realtor 2 states. Love it. Expansion. Who else is in the room? Lender. Market coordinator. Yeah, lender. Homeowner. Yes. Love it. Okay, you guys, when you're looking at this particular, oops, sorry, trying to get out of my chat. At this particular slide, what we're going to do today is to look at what we need to do to achieve the goals that we set in the beginning of the year, if we set some, to get to the end of 22, but really to shoot into 2023. And a lot of what will get in the way are these stressors. What keeps us from the success is what we allow to get in the way. The beauty is that if we realize that we're the ones who are allowing it, we have the freedom to change it. Would you agree? So what is getting in your way? And Jeff's named some of them. It could be the media telling the whole population that this isn't a time to buy, that everybody should be afraid. Put in the chat something that might be getting in your way right now that would be a stressor for you. What's something that's getting in your way? Oh, you guys are good. You don't have any stressors in your world. Do you all have enough time every single day? You're out of there at 4:30, you're leaving early, nothing left on your desk. All your to-dos are done. There's not a to-do left in your day. Affordability for buyers. Yep, there's a mindset that's changing. A lot of that mindset is to the script and to the tactics. Listings aren't moving. If you are a realtor, your scripts are changing to, price reductions. The time on market is really that preempt to, if we don't have an offer in 2 weeks, let's agree to adjust the price to, or let's bring our lender in and have flyers on the table that show that if you contribute this much to their closing costs, their payment will really be much less. I love it. Rates, purchase price, qualify. Okay, so truly, what you just listed is your reaction to what's happening. It's your mindset to what's happening. So would you say that if you had the right script to combat the mindset that your buyer or sellers has, that you could have the solution with a lender partner to show them ways that they could buy or sell, right? I don't know about you guys, but as realtors, when you got into the business and you went out on your first listing presentation, were you confident? I play James Brown. I feel good, just to get my mindset in the mode while I go out to a listing presentation even today. But when I first got into the business, I did that to build the confidence, because I was still nervous on how I was going to present, that I was going to say the right thing, that I was going to say it to the right person, and that I was going to say it enough times in these listing presentations. So if you want to build confidence today, it may be getting the accountability of a scripts person or a group within your world. So whether that's real estate lending, et cetera, or your business. Let's see what else we have. Buyers are now on the fence. Okay, so this is a whole nother class, and I'm going to jump out of this. But what I want to take from that, because we actually have scripts practice every single morning on our team for objection handlers, to understand what the market is coming at us with, so that we can better defend against it. Because this is the stressor is not having the preparation to be successful in having the conversation with our clients, or to educate a realtor who's been in the business for less than 4 years on how we can actually get creative with our lending in a contract to bring a win-win for the buyer or seller, right? So a lot of that stress can go away when we have the confidence in what we're saying, how we say it, and who we're saying it to. So, this allows you to show up with your best self. So any distraction, though, let's go into some of that. Some of the distraction could be our mindset and then the actions that follow it. How many of you are doing lead gen for new clients? And it doesn't just have to be real estate or lending. Who has a list of their top 50 relationships who send them the most business? Somebody say yes in this chat room. Who has a VIP list? Any of you? Yes, Sarah. How often are you talking to your VIP list, Deanna? Is it once a month? Once a quarter? How often are you calling through?
Every month.
Love it. Love it. So I'll tell you, my success in business has been a lot of my fail forward. I decided to take on a challenge of doing lead gen 5 days a week for 2 hours, no matter what, and nobody could come into my bunker. That lead gen was a discovery time, because even though within 56, 57 days, I penned 19 deals myself and my EA by just staying true to lead gen and not having any distractions. The reality is that when I was in there, I realized that I was calling people, but I wasn't calling the right people. I was trying to convert a web lead. I was trying to create a relationship with somebody that didn't necessarily want to get to know me. And I wasn't talking to the people who had already entrusted me with business and with the right to help them build real estate wealth. So those VIP lists, so doing the right thing and making sure that when you walk out of that 2-hour block of time where you're focusing on your business, you're going to feel good because you focused on the right people. And who doesn't want to talk to the people that are already raving fans versus trying to convert somebody who doesn't necessarily even know who you are? They're just looking online. So the stress goes away when you know that you are working on the right things. So let's sneak over to, so distractions overwhelm, unclear priorities creates a conflict. With a clear priority, knowing exactly what you need to be doing, the stress drops away. There we go. I did it again. Sorry, guys. Okay. So the BHAG is your big, hairy, audacious goal. So in the chat, tell me who set goals for 2022? Who wrote them out? Okay, I see some hands going up. Love it. Love it. Now tell me who's looking at those goals on a quarterly, weekly, daily. How often are you looking at the goals that you set for 2022? Daily, Sarah, nicely done. Quarterly? Seems to be. Everybody sets a New Year's Eve goal, right? Every 6 months. Love it. Not often enough. Thank you for your honesty, Deanna. Sarah's got the emoji. I love it. Okay. So here's what I do in preparing my team. So this conference that I'm going to is actually one of the presenters is Michael Phelps. Okay. I think Michael Phelps wakes up every single morning as a 23 gold star. Oh my gosh. I just went blank. He won the gold 23 times, gold star. Anyways, I think he wakes up every single morning knowing that his goal is to swim, that his passion, it is ingrained in him. It's in his DNA that he knows what he's all about from the inside out. What I know from coaching people is that when I go into what is your goal, what is your big why do you do what you do every single day? The majority of our population doesn't necessarily know, right? So when I ask you, have you set a goal? Most likely it's been a goal for loans closed, deals closed, units, volume, building your client base, maybe expanding to a new location. Like when you set goals at the end of 2023 or 2021, you probably set it on business. But the why that is so important is that when the sky is falling, when COVID shows up to our world, when life is in session, when somebody gets a diagnosis. One of my coaching clients today, we canceled because one of her friends just fell down a crevasse in Nepal and they have a search and rescue out. Life shows up. And sometimes we have to still show up to our business because we have employees, we have clients with deadlines, we have a family that needs us to provide for them. But that why is what gets us through life being in session from time to time. So as economies change, as markets change, things shift, the inside, that DNA is what's going to get us up and going. It's also a passionate life, a life by design. So if the why isn't swimming like a Michael Phelps, what is the why? And so this is the part of looking at the goals that you set in 2021 to succeed by the end of 2022. Maybe you had a why behind it, but what I would challenge you is if you don't have a why behind it, let's put a why behind it for this third quarter. What are you passionate about? So for me, it could be with some of my coaching clients, it can be as much as a single mom who wants to take her kids to Disneyland because she hasn't been able to afford a vacation even for them in the last 3 years since the divorce. Right? The why could be something that has nothing to do with business, but she knows that when she achieves certain goals in business, that she is going to be able to provide this trip for her children that she has dreamed about doing for so long. Right? That's the why that gets her up in a market. That's a why that makes her stay true in lead gen. That's a why that makes sure that she's talking to her 50 top relationships who are her raving fans that send her business. That's the why that gets her up early and gets her out the door and gets her going, no matter what chart, no matter what media publication, no matter what deal didn't go through yesterday, she takes today because she's taking her kids to Disneyland. So the why can be your family. So I work with Ben Kinney, Jeff mentioned. He likes to teach our goal setting. He'll start with, who would you jump in front of a bus for? Okay, you can only name 2. So if you have 3 kids, you got to pick your 2 favorites, right? Like that's it. Maybe you like your spouse, maybe you don't, maybe you're going to include them, maybe you don't, but who are you going to jump in front of? And your parents are out, right? They're older anyways. The dog is who I'd put in front of the bus. But here's the deal. Who would you jump in front of the bus for? Your why may be having enough money and security that if something happened to that loved one, you would have the ability to care for them monetarily. That may be your why, right? But find your why between now and name it 24 hours, 7 by the end of the week. Name your why, because when you have your why, your ability to achieve the rest of this quarter at a high level is higher. When you write down your goals, you're 70% more likely to achieve them. This is proven. And then also if you have an accountability partner, so if you're reviewing those goals with somebody on a regular basis, now you're in the 90 percentile. So find somebody to maybe get accountable with in finishing out 2022 as well. And then you have to have measured markers. And we're going to jump into that in some of these sheets. So if I know that I want to be able to provide for the people that I love, what does that look like? How many units do I need to close? How many loans do I need to close? What is the average sales price that I need to get to the average commission that I need to get to the end result to reach the goal? I don't know about you guys, but what was January certainly isn't September. Would you agree? Has it changed? Right? So we have to shift those numbers along the way, but we won't know that we need to shift anything if we don't have measurable markers. So in real estate, I may have an agent who says, I want to close 24 deals this year, but we're breaking it down into what's your average commission price, what's your average sales price to average commission to, all the way down to, in coaching, we'll go all the way to how many calls do you need to an appointment? How many appointments do you need to a pending? How many pendings do you need to a closing, right? Like we're really breaking down and watching those numbers so that we can adjust along the way. Okay, so let me sneak over to the next one. Check your alignment. So you have to be aligned to your core values. So once again, as you know your why, you also have to be aligned to your core values. In order to move forward, to stay on track, to have that trajectory, You have to be aligned to your true self. You can't be a cow and a turnip at the same time, right? Like you need to absolutely stay aligned to who you truly are in order to stay aligned to your passion, to be able to keep moving forward when life is in session. So getting rid of anything that doesn't align with that. In other words, if you have set the goal, you know how many deals you need to do, you know the priorities in which to get them accomplished, and you know the strategies to get there. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, you are awesome, I would like you to be on this committee, and you are not aligned to those goals, it makes it really easy to say, you know what, that is such a compliment, but it doesn't align to my goals and my trajectory to be able to finish out 22 strong. So if it's not a hell yes, it is a hell no in a very polite way. But you can actually know what is your trajectory and what isn't, because you have measurable markers in which to align yourself to. It is so easy to take so much on that is a complete distraction to where we really want to go. And I will tell you, the more successful you get, the more opportunities that we're offered. And we always have this innate fear that if I don't say yes, that I'm saying no to some opportunity. What I'm going to tell you, if you say yes to the right things, you will always have more opportunity and more opportunity to say no, so that you can stay true to your 20% and be in the results, the 80% of the results that you actually want. Okay, so categorical decisions. We make, this aligns with that same statement. We will be doing things that are on the surface level looking like they're going to bring us the results that we want. So if I went into your calendar and you color coordinated it, it was sexy as all get out. You got blues and purples and yellows. Your calendar, you know, there's open, I'm going to go to the realtors because that's the majority, Jeff says. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit, you guys. So say you've got lead gen in there, and you've got open houses, and you've got farming, and you've got door knocking, and you've got calling expireds and canceled, and you've got all these things in your calendar. Sexy as all get out, but if you're not doing it, it does nothing for you. You actually wasted the time color coding it. That's me, right? So I'm not in that calendar and I'm not prioritizing. But when I have a goal that says I need to close 24 units, I've decided that for simple math, 12 of those 24 are going to be buyers and 12 of those are going to be sellers. And when I look at what I've closed so far, and I've only closed 6 sellers so far, maybe I need to focus in on closing or contacting in my lead gen far more seller opportunity than I am buyer opportunity. The other thing that I need to know is they're going to be longer on market, right? So that may be an adjustment to that primary goal that I set in January. Maybe that I actually want to grab as many of my pre-qualified or pre-approved, excuse me, and the pre-qualified doesn't even count anymore, pre-approved buyers and get them going right now, right? So that's that measurement and staying true to the goal. So when I can see that I'm on track, then if somebody comes in and says, hey, Mallina, I've got this new marketing tool and I want to show you off on social media, and would you do this podcast and I can say hell no in a polite way by, you know what, maybe in the first quarter or second quarter of 2023, let's revisit that. But right now I'm staying true to what needs to be done. And then I'm looking at how I increase my lead gen for sellers instead of doing a podcast for somebody. Does that make sense? Right? Okay. So if it's not a hell yes, then make sure that it's a hell no. Make sure that you're staying on track to the things that are important. So now I want to show you guys, move your faces out of the way a little bit, what that might look like. So the big why, if you want to break it down into loans, if you want to break it down into adding people to your database, if you are a plumber, if you want to expand a location, whatever your big why is. For a realtor, it's going to be how many you want to close between now and 2022 ending. But also, as we know, our last contract is usually written in November because it takes us 30 days to close, right? So what do we need to do between now and then, the end of 2022, to also launch us into 2023? Because what we're writing in December is usually closing in January. Once again, as you guys look at the fact that most realtors have never been in this market before, as you expand your muscles to be the realtor that people want to choose in a market where everybody else is afraid or eating Haagen-Dazs, how do you capture that market? How do you make people aware, your database, your VIPs, know that you are in this deal for the long term and you are here and ready to help people understand this market and how to succeed in it and how to build wealth through real estate with your partnering lender? So your big why may have looked different in January, but reassess this right now. Look at your numbers. What have you closed? Where have your deals come from? What's happened in the last 30 days? Where is your biggest lead source? Who's your biggest raving fan? Who sent you the most referrals? How can you better align with Jeff to find out about how to help a seller understand that they can contribute to closing costs instead of doing a price reduction and save themselves money and bring more buyers to the table? How do you let the buyers know that that's even a potential when their realtor's never been in a market where they can adjust as such? So your big why is really being reassessed now. So because I told you guys, you're going to have 70% more of an opportunity to succeed if you write it down. Right now, put in the chat box a commitment to a time in which you will reassess your goals between now and say Friday. So put in the chat, write down who will commit to spending an hour, a half an hour looking at their goals and rewriting them out to succeed for the rest of the year and launch in. What do I have? Olympic medal. I'm just jumping back in there. 2 p.m. today, Deanna. Yes, you are the gold medal winner today. The gold star. If I had scratch and sniff stickies, I'd give you one. Yes, ma'am. Me. Okay. So Maggie, tell me by when. Nate, tell me by when. When? 11 Thursday. Beautiful. Give me some times. If you guys write this down, you are 70% more likely. 5 p.m. Friday. I love it. If you want to take a couple hours and really dive into your data, I don't mind a Sunday. Put some more times down, you guys. 70% more likely to succeed. Wednesday by 8 p.m. 10 Saturday. Love it, Maggie. Thank you. Okay. So you've just written it down. You guys who just put that in the chat box, you're 70%. This is NASA data. You're 70% more likely to succeed at looking at goals and resetting them. When you write out these goals, you will have 70% more chance of achieving them by the end of 2022, which will launch you into 2023. So when you look at this sheet, your goal is going to go here. How many units? How many loans? What's the average? What does that look like? Recalculate your numbers so that it's measurable. So it's aligning with what you truly want to have, which is your big why. Where do you want to land by the end of the year? What budget do you want to start with for 2023? Maybe you really have wanted to do some social media. So maybe you earn the right. So your big why is getting to a social media campaign and hiring leverage to help you do that. So your big why is going to be measurable. The next three, the 2 or 3 big rocks, are going to be what you're going to do to get there. If you could only do 3 things to increase your business, what would they be? Shoot me some ideas in the chat right now. If you could name 1, 2, or 3 things that you know if you did them would increase your success rate in building out your business, what would they be? Somebody should put lead gen in there. Door knock more. Reconnect with past leads. Yes. So Deanna, I would challenge you to define where you're going to door knock. Those are the tactical and strategical. Is that around an open house? Is that around a buyer's contract that maybe you didn't win? Who are you door knocking to? Is it a neighborhood? Reconnect with past leads. Maggie, that would be in a lead gen time block. Does your calendar reflect that you're in lead gen, and do you stay true so that it's not just sexy, it's actually being accomplished? And who are your past leads, right? Are you starting with the ones that are your raving fans and give you referrals first, categorizing them? I have a VIP list. If you guys want one, let me know by the end of the class and I'll send it over to you. My neighborhood, I love it. So Deanna, my confession is that 2 doors down from my house, there's a for sale sign and it's not mine. The gal up the street actually has a realtor friend. So she used her, but I didn't know she was going to list her house until my other neighbor let me know that she was going to list her house. So the raving fan is the other neighbor, but she does send me a lot of business. Okay, I love this. So now you have a commitment. And you're going to put the 3 things that will launch your business to the highest level to close out 2022. And those 3 things are going to have strategies to accomplish it. So if it was door knocking, or if it was, let's say it's call past clients. So you're going to define who is that, your vendor list? Is it your partners list? Is that anybody that was a past client? And then you're going to have a strategy behind that. It could be an anniversary list. It could be building out your database. So you're going to name it within the strategies. And you're also going to say who. Some of you have leverage. Some of you have teams. Some of you have teenage kids that you can hire tax-free until they're 18. So if you're door knocking and you're putting together something that you're leaving behind, maybe you're also bringing in somebody to help you build out what you're leaving behind, right? And then you're going to have a due date. Once again, that accountability to your mindset and that accountability with another partner to go over whether you're achieving your goals, or the accountability of a date in which you're going to have it accomplished, will make you go backwards in your calendar to make sure that you're going to accomplish it on time. Who in this group has an accountability partner? Put it in the chat. What does that look like? Do you guys have scripts groups? Do you have a spouse that makes you report back? Who's your accountability partner in your life? Give me an accountability partner. Scripts, team owner, teammates. I love it. How often are you doing scripts, Sarah? Daily. Love it. Are you doing all the objection handlers? Anything that's coming up? Love it. Love it. You guys, the market changes. We don't know that it's changed until it's already changed, right? You don't know that a market has changed until we can see the numbers to prove that it has. So chasing the ball down the hill, being ahead of that ball by knowing the scripts, being able to help our clients get there. Absolutely. And this accountability should have lead gen in it, and it should have scripts in it. And it doesn't matter what business you're in. So if you're here today and you're not in real estate or lending, the economy, whether you have an inflation on a product, or if the process is changing because of demand or lack thereof, there's always a script that needs to be mastered to be able to better serve your client. Okay. Oops. There it goes. Okay, I have to move our faces again. Okay, executing this plan. So once again, it's kind of a step-by-step process. You're going to look at the goal, you're going to readjust. What has worked so far? What hasn't worked so far? What do I need to do to win 2022? Next, you're going to break it out into these top 3 things. Once you've identified what needs to be done, you're going to list the 3 things. You guys can add 4, 5, 6, 7, as many more ways, but you earn the right to do that. Finish the 3 first. Once you finish that, and most of the time you won't because it's doing so well and you like the results, that you stay to those 3. You'll also find that when you get laser focused in this, that the strategies that you have on priority 1 and on priority 2 and priority 3 are actually talking to each other. So say you had 12 buyers, 12 sellers, and adding to or growing your database, right? In COVID, when we went back through our numbers, we realized that a lot of our sellers who would have become buyers have left the state. They moved, whether politics, health, taking care of family, but our sellers didn't necessarily roll over into our buyers, and our database was shrinking. And we realized that by looking at these numbers, looking at this on a very regular basis. And so one of our goals shifted to filling that database. So if you have 12 buyers, 12 sellers, and adding to your database is your top priorities to finish out 2022, what you're going to realize is that lead gen is in all 3 of those, really. You're lead genning to find more buyers, to find more sellers, and maybe to build out your vendor database. Maybe you're having client events to build your database, but then that's also adding to buyers and to sellers, right? So they cross over those strategies. As much as it seems like a big to-do list, you actually become more efficient, in what you're doing. So, but you don't want to take more than 3 priorities. You really do want to break it down. But what I want to tell you is, even though it feels like you're going small, you're really going much bigger. If you laser it down into small, it's efficiency. It's the 20%. If you are focused on the right 20%, if you align with your team, people have brought up teams. If you align with those around you who support your world, so whether that's a spouse or your family, and you're saying, okay, you guys, I really need to give a push. So in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to take 2 nights every week and really sit down and try to contact people I haven't been able to get to during the day, because our markets shift, and I still want us to have a fabulous vacation in 2023. Bring in those that care about you and have them surround you in your goals and your purpose after you've reevaluated. But then you're going to be in that 20%. When you commit to an evening of calling people you haven't gotten a hold of in a really long time, we've gotten really lazy in just answering the phone, just like 2007, 6, 7, where the phone rang and we wrote a deal. We have not done the basics of looking for new business in a while because business has been there. So if you get purposeful and you commit to 2, because now you're realigning and you're realizing, I haven't talked to a lot of people I should be talking to, so I'm going to try either on the weekend or I'm going to try in the evening. You will be able to, when you make that call, be very script oriented and adding people to the database, looking for anybody they know that has talked about selling their home. And by the way, who do you know that's looking to buy or invest, since Airbnbs or investment properties and this economy brings out all of those looking for a good opportunity? Who do you know? And by the way, what are your real estate plans in the next year? Right? So what you're saying and who you're saying it to, and the fact that you're investing an evening away from your family to make sure your business is on track, you're going to absolutely have a much higher result. And it's going to fit into the 3 priorities in a bigger way. You will get very purposeful in it. So if you take this, it broke out in this sheet. You can lay this out any way that works for you. It doesn't matter, just work it, but find the priorities and then find what you're going to do each week on each of those priorities and identify the one thing that will push that priority through. So remember, before we have 1 priority, 5 strategies. Now you're going to put your one thing, the strategy that you're going to focus on for that priority, and you're really going to get laser focused on what you're going to do that week. Now, the beauty about this is that if you know you're going on vacation, if you know Thanksgiving week, we only work 4, or we have 4 days off, right? If we know there's a holiday or a conference, all of a sudden we're looking at our calendar at a glance, so we can be responsible. Once again, the sky is falling. Our mindset, when I asked you guys, what's in the way of you moving forward? It's pricing, it's buyers pulling back because they don't have the affordability. Maybe they do, we just haven't shown them how. Maybe we haven't sat down with Jeff and laid out a sheet that says, hey, you may have been shopping here when you were pre-qualified at this amount. The interest rates have gone up, but if we ask the seller to give us a concession on our financing addendum, we can still shop in this price point. They don't know. They're just they're retrieving to the Haagen-Dazs. We need to help bring them out. So what we named as an objection of what's getting in our way, really, we need to relook at, is it there, the objection, is it real or is it not? How do we overcome that? How do you come out winning? If you look at the chart that Jeff made mention, and you look at people who have taken opportunity in down markets and recessions, and when everybody else has gone to bed, that's when we get busy and we win market share. That's when we get busy and we show that we are the expert that our clients need us to be. That's when we get busy and we build out classes with our vendor partners, and we're adding to the database. We're getting sponsors for our client parties. There's so many different ways when you get laser focused on being the professional that you truly are, because you have grit and you want to get out of bed because you're going to take those kids to Disneyland, and you know that people are telling you you can't do something, and you're going to overcome that because you have a master plan on how you're going to get it done. Ooh, I feel like I want to play Rocky right about now. I have lost your faces. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Okay. I can't see your faces anymore, so I can't see your reactions. Hopefully you're all doing a Rocky dance. I don't know what happened to the faces. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Here we go. Okay, so once again, calendars are super sexy. They're so sexy. I love color coding them. They're so fun. What I want to talk to you about is time batch. So as people were talking about door knocking, right? What are you door knocking for? If you're doing open houses, if you're calling canceled and expireds, what I want your calendar to look like, if you're going to color code it, is that it shows me that the majority of what you're doing in those time blocks are the strategies and the priorities that you said we're going to launch you into 2023 at a high level. If your calendar, if you could go into your calendar and color code everything that's in there, that is what you deemed the three things that would give you the highest success to fill out 2022 at a high level, go to your calendar and see if your calendar actually reflects that you're doing that, right? I don't know that it is. I know that I've had to take a real honest look at some of the distractions that I've added to my calendar week over week that are really pulling away from doing what is most important to get to the end goal. One of the things that I want to tell you though, is this is also a time, having grit doesn't mean that you don't give yourself permission to work smart and give yourself a break. So the time to rest and relax. Thanksgiving is to be spent with your family, right? How do you set yourself up the week before? How do you set yourself up when you get back to hit it hard? But don't forget that you are going to give yourself those things that are what life's all about. As this coaching client is wondering where her dear, dear friend is. Life is short. We have but a moment. This is just work, right? And how we serve is how we serve as a whole person, not just how many transactions we do or even that we do them with the Tiffany's experience. It's about living a full life and enjoying every minute of it, no matter what market we're in. You cannot do that if you don't give yourself a recharge. So go to your calendar and see if you're doing the right things, but also see if you're giving yourself a space in which to be the best that you can be. Vacations, when you get into 2023 and you start to build out your calendar, and I do that in November and December, as I block time, I may not know where the vacation is going to go, but I block it in a way that I can take the most days possible with the time that I take. And so the calendar drives where I put my vacation based on my coaching schedule. So if there's a space in which you can go in there and grab time to recharge, because really you're coming at it with all of you to hit 2022 as a success, launching into 2023. But that doesn't mean all of you not being recharged and not living life passionately and not going to concerts. A couple weekends ago, my daughter called me, this same daughter, I'm at her apartment, and she said, Mom, I've got VIP tickets to the Rolling Stones. I'm like, you have got to go. And she's like, well, it's in Paris. I'm like, you've got to go. How do I make that happen for you? And she said, do you want to go with? And I said, absolutely. And I could clear my calendar and I could make that happen, not because I do any bigger business than anybody else, but because I have a calendar that allows me to move things around. I have leverage that allows me to go when I need to go, because life will be in session, whether for the fun or for like this coaching client that needs to take some time. Part of that comes to the batching. So if you are building out, so I have a time block in mind that is creation. That creation time batch is for anything new that we're doing with our client parties, any type of new tool that I want to explore. Like there is a block in my calendar that is protected for my own curiosity, for building my own business, for exploring some new ideas so I can still stay passionate in my business. But it's batch. And when my team sets appointments for me, it's not interrupted based on that batch. So that being said, tell me a little bit, because I've been rambling on for a little bit and this is supposed to be interactive and I've got to figure out how to get your faces back up here. Sarah, if you have some ideas, I don't know why. I'm going to hit escape for a minute. But in the chat, tell me something that is an aha that's happening right now as you guys are hearing some of what I'm saying.
Hey, Mallina, at the top right of your screen, there's a view button up there. Do you see it? Should be in your, not there, but up in your Zoom screen. If you move around up in the corner, there's a view, and then it says standard side-by-side speaker, side-by-side gallery.
Are you seeing my screen right now? Are you seeing the floating bar? Or are you not seeing that?
Yeah, I'm seeing the pink bar, the Safari. Might be different because it looks like you're on a Mac, but up in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, like the Zoom screen. So go away from where your cursor is and go, there's a view button when you get up into the far right, upper right corner.
But it doesn't show unless you roll your cursor over by it, at least on mine. So
I apologize. I just got this new Mac too. So I've done a few Zoom classes on it, but I've never lost you guys before. So I've got the floating screen. I don't want to take too much time because I can do it without seeing you guys, but let me look. Because I really like seeing your faces. Oh, this is crazy that I can't see this. I can see 20 participants. I can see, although I can't see you, it tells me there are 20 of you there. Oh, wait, here it is. It's floating on the left. It's floating.
Oh, it's on the left for you?
On the left for me. Yes, I see your beautiful faces. Okay, and I also have chat up. Okay, so what's coming to mind? Who has a sexy calendar that uses it no matter what? They're totally on time everywhere they go. Tell me what you guys are coming up with in thoughts and ahas so far on this. And you know what, if we don't want to chat, Sarah, maybe for a minute, we can just have people, if you can see them, raise their hands and we can have some conversation. But I'd love to know because I still have a bit of time as we go further in this, where we might expand to, like what's coming to mind for you guys. Ooh, workout accountability partner too. Okay. And I'd be glad to share. I'll double check with Isaac since he kind of put them together for me, but I'm sure it's fine to share the slides.
I mean, I think, from coaching for so long as I have, as you have, it is the accountability that helps everybody.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have someone backing you up and holding you accountable for what you're trying to do. Otherwise, we just go back to that same space where we were before. Oh, I'm gonna make 20 calls today. And then 12 roll around, it's 4 o'clock. You're like, oh my God, what a crappy day. And then you leave because you just give up, right? There's no one there that's gonna have your back. So it could be another, another person in your office that could hold you accountable. I mean, they probably need an accountability partner. You could hire a coach, you could hire Mallina to coach you and hold you accountable. I think that's like the biggest game changer for anyone out there, is to have somebody that is coaching you and holding you accountable to what you're doing, whether it's a spouse, a friend, a coach, or anybody. Find that person that you can utilize to hold you accountable to really get to the next level.
I agree. And you guys, I have a coach, and he literally called me out last week and said, what are your numbers? Like I didn't know that's where we were going in our call. And he said, okay, let's take a look, pull up all your numbers. And I have all my stats. He said, where are you? What are you going to do? What are you going to commit to? And he went through my real estate. He went through my coaching client and how many classes I had set up. And then also if I was working smart within those. So I was actually backsliding back into doing too many classes that didn't align with my purpose. I was saying yes instead of saying hell no. Right. And I needed to come back around and just be very purposeful on how many I would do per month so that I could stay true to the other 3, which is the coaching clients and the real estate. Because right now, everybody's just dying to know how to, right? So the invitations to these classes are over and over and over again, but I was letting it interfere in my real estate business and my coaching time. So having accountability is a really, really big deal, but it also makes me really accountable to looking at my number. I'm prepared with my numbers when I'm talking to him, because I know he's going to call me out. So he uses that as he should. And that's what I love about him, is every once in a while, he'll just pull it out of the bag, say, nope, we're not doing that. This is what we're going to do, is look at your numbers. So accountability tracker, I love that. We do too. So I run a team, and we actually track all of our lead gen hours, all of, like I said, how many calls to get to an appointment, how many appointments to get to a pending. Because when we have buyers and we were showing homes, and then how many pendings to a contract, right? And we were showing but a few homes, but we were writing 10. Well, actually, we had a really good conversion rate. So say we wrote 3 offers to get to a pending, right? But if we were all of a sudden writing 10 offers to get it to a pending, then we knew that it was a script. It was something was happening in the market. We weren't saying the right thing. Why were we being held up to get to pending? Because time is how many showings we were doing, right? So trackers are fabulous, but going over that tracker with somebody on your team. So it could be your EA, it could be another realtor, it could be, hey, what are you running into? That synergy will show you more through those measurements, because you're tracking as to what you need to change, and your business will shift. There's an example, I'm not going to do this perfectly, but they say that when you send a shuttle out into space, that it looks like it's going for the moon, right? If you looked out the window, there's the moon, we're headed that way. But truly, if it's off track, but just by a little bit, and you're not taking a look at the direction that it's headed by inches, seconds, you will be in another galaxy, right? So by staying on track and in your calendar, having a time where you can look at these numbers and these measurements with somebody, you can really see where you need to adjust. Like you have to let out a little air and point the nose back towards the moon, because even though you can see the moon out the window, you're headed for another galaxy. And by looking at this on a regular with somebody, you can get back on track easily. Shift in market, interest rates, COVID, new systems. For us, as you guys are realtors, and most of you, I'm thinking in Washington, we just had a huge class yesterday on how we're going to do the buyer's commission on the new form starting October 3rd. I need to get off my shuttle for a minute and realize that there's some new mechanics that we need to learn so that we can be launched quickly and not lose transactions having not learned the script or the right way to explain the new form, so that buyers at the last minute don't decide they're going to try to negotiate our commissions, right? So you have to be current, and part of that is through that calendar. Okay, hell yes and hell no. Thank you, Maggie. I'm sure, literally, you guys, this is what comes back to me, is that in the next week, you're going to have a lot of hell no's, right? Say it in a polite way, but it's okay to say no, because what you're saying yes to is your goal. Your goal is saying yes to your why. Your why may be your loved ones, creating a nonprofit, getting out of debt, and being a homeowner yourself. Like, your yes to the right thing and the hell no to something else is really staying true to all that you want your life to be. Stay true to you. Okay. Win the day. So you're going to pull, I want to give you an example that we do in our office. If you have not read the One Thing book, I highly suggest it. It was written by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, but it sits across all of the different genres of books. So it's in business, it's in personal growth, it's in psychological, who knows, it's everywhere. The ideas in that book aren't that brand new, but the way that they put it together, it really aligns with what you're seeing here. It talks about building a GPS and having 3 priorities and 5 strategies, right? So it really aligns with this. What I like in the way that we coach is that we're really looking more at a laser focus in on the 12 weeks and anywhere from the day to that 12 weeks to the year, so that we can shift, like I said, readjust the shuttle and make sure we're not in a different galaxy sooner. But in the One Thing, it talks about making a list of things for the day. So for our team, we'll come in and we'll grab a piece of paper or whatever it may be. And before the computer goes on, before you're looking at your email, before you do anything, you're going to do a brain dump on that piece of paper. And that brain dump is everything that you think you need to do that day. So you're writing it out. You're just writing everything. You know, there's that one client, I've got to close that file. I need to double check that they went back out and the paint got done for the FHA loan, like whatever it may be. Everything that comes to mind, just write it down. The only person that needs to be able to read your handwriting is you. It's only for you. Then you're going to open your computer and then you're going to pull up your calendar. At that point, you're going to see things that you forgot. Oh my gosh, I have a dentist appointment, or I have. And some people will do this the night before. For me, I like doing it first thing in the morning because I start my day really early. So then you're seeing what's on your calendar. And you're also then looking at your week-long calendar, because remember, now we're sexy color coded and we're doing it. So it's awesome. And you have white space on there because you've batched things. So if a client comes in from out of town or a file goes sideways, you actually have space on your calendar where you can move things around, and your stress level, which was our very first slide, is 0 because you've created a space and a way of doing business that you have that time. And I know your head is going, how can you think I possibly have 2 minutes in my day? You do. Challenge yourself and go see where by time batching it. So then you pull up your calendar and you put everything on that list that you didn't think of when you brain dumped. Then you can pull up your emails and you can see what's come in that you didn't see since you left the office, because there will be new things that you didn't realize that you needed to do. Like somebody, one of your raving fans, because you've been talking to them every single month, says, hey, I want to list a house. We're leaving town on Wednesday. Is there any way you could come out today? You're going to move some things around, right? But then you're going to have that full list in that order, because when you start with your calendar or when you start with your emails, you forget what originally was there. Like it's been drowned in everything that there is to do. And some of the most important things get lost in that. Because in the morning, you might remember that you are going to stay committed to locking in your client event center, or you're going to leverage out, you're going to ask so-and-so to do that. And I think this sheet, I have to move things over. This one doesn't have leverage on it, but the who is in your list as well. Now you go back to the list and you're like, who can I delegate to? do, defer, delegate, or delete, right? Who can I give this to? Maybe this really isn't as important. It's not the 20% I thought it was, but what are the top 3, 4, or 5 things that I need to do for today in order? And if I win, and if I accomplish these 4 things, 3 things, then I won the day, right? And what happens is, once again, with that first slide, it was everything that is a to-do isn't what everything that's going to get done. And when you get comfortable in that, because you know that you're prioritizing the right things to do that will get you the most results based on the direction that you deemed is where you want to be headed in your business, no matter what shift, no matter what's happening in the world or the politics or the election. Like, when you've deemed this is what I'm going to do in my world today, all of a sudden you're still living the life by design, no matter what life is throwing at you. And you're doing it with leverage, you're doing it with mindset, you're doing it with purpose. You're creating a life for yourself and those that you love in a way that you absolutely will get up, put your feet on the ground, and instead of going, oh my God, this market, you're going to wake up and say, I am so excited that I have a clear vision on what I want to do today to rock this world. Okay, with that, once you get through that list, so I think at one point in this, I said, okay, who has everything on their to-do list done every day? You guys, that list will never get done. It will never get done. If you can take one thing away, it's never going to get done. But what you are going to do is you're going to see what you need to eliminate. It's like the tabs on your computer where you have them all open and your head is just running. You know, you're overheating because it's never going to get done, never going to get done. If you can move the tabs on your computer to have the first 3 or 4 or maybe 5 absolutes for the day and start there, are you going to feel good once those are accomplished? And then the rest, you're either going to delete or you're going to delegate or you're going to defer to a different time. A lot of times the deferment shows you that an idea, once again, you're inventorying an idea, a great idea that you had really isn't something that you're going to do, right? Not now. Maybe you'll earn the right to add that back to the list later. So in the beginning of the year, I coach a lot of clients and they had a lot of great ideas in the beginning of the year. You know, write a newsletter for the attorneys in town, or write articles. Attorneys will have a publication and you can put an article in there, right? And they love when realtors do that. So here's a tidbit for you if you're a realtor about the market. And there are divorce attorneys, there's estate attorneys, there's, right? And they have this publication. So one of the ideas that we had come up for her, she loves to write, was different places where she wanted to kind of put herself out there with one, here's your time batch, your effort, one article that she could then put either into a blog or into, like, it became one thing. And it was also the base of a class and she could bring vendors in. So, but what we did is after some of the shifts, we realized that wasn't getting done. And the mindset of it not getting done was weighing her down. We needed to delete it. We needed to take that time and go back into lead gen and go back to the lead source that she had. One of her other strategies, she's really big in PTA and she wanted to get 3 deals from PTA. And it's been like 50% of her business because once she got in there, she's just created great relations. And so she had earned the right to put it down. She might pick it up later, but she needed to take it off the tapes that were running in her head. Okay, what's something that's coming to mind that maybe you guys can decide not to do, or what's something that's coming to mind that you can do to make your business rocket for the last quarter and launch you into 2023 that maybe you didn't think about prior to this class? Show me some honey. What do you got for ideas, guys? What are you going to take off the list, or what are you going to add to the list? I could outweigh you, but it would be a waste of your time. I'm not going to outweigh you. Nobody has something on their list from their goals from the beginning of the year that maybe they haven't accomplished and they want to just say, okay, I'm giving myself permission not to do that before the end of the year. I know some folks that have gotten really good at open houses and some that said, I'm not doing it. Anybody have that on their business plan that they're either going to dive in more or take out if you're a realtor? Okay, how about an aha? Who got something from this? What was a takeaway that maybe you didn't expect to get today? Or a commitment that you want to make, like maybe joining scripts or getting an accountability partner or working with Jeff to come up with flyers for your open houses. Time block and color code. Awesome. So let me give you guys a tool for, this is a tool that isn't as, yay, accountability partner. Help to remind myself to stay on track. Good job, Deanna. Here would be a way that one of your time batches might be expanding a relationship. And when you open that time batch in your calendar, it could have Jeff, it could have another vendor partner, it could have whoever is a relationship in your world and in your business that could help you be better at what you do through that relationship. So with Jeff and other lenders, I don't know if you guys knew this, and this is not applicable now, but at one point in time, we were doing, when people were going in and making offers and it was above the list price, what we were doing is we were projecting in that neighborhood, that zip code, that school district, that if you pay $20,000 more, $100,000 more than what this is listed at right now, the increase in home prices is going at this rate in this zip code, this neighborhood, this school district. So within 4 months, 3 months, 5 months, you'll actually be at the point where what you offered is the value of the home if it stays on this track. A lot of people didn't realize that they could work with their lender to come up with creative tools like that. Right now, the tool is understanding that on a price point of $500,000, if the seller contributes this amount, that amount, this amount, that the payment can be dropped for the buyer by this many $100 per month. Right? When you have a chart like that on your open house, do you think that would help? And if your seller is already prepared to make a contribution, so you're allowed to start the pricing a little bit higher, but the contribution is there and you can actually put that into your remarks for the agent on the other side to know that the seller is willing to make a contribution towards closing costs. Do you think that helps close some deals? So those are some of the time blocks that you would do, is actually get with people who can help you build your business on a higher level based on those relationships. And you start brainstorming with people like Jeff and really realize where you can have added value, and you start role playing with people on your team, or if you run a team and you have agents, you're showing them how to have that conversation with the seller when you go out on the listing appointment. Okay, so all sorts of great ideas. I love that you guys have invested in yourselves today. Are there any questions that you might have for me? And I will, the 4 Ds. Yeah, do, delete, defer, delegate. Absolutely. And you guys, leverage is key. Like I said, if you have kids that you can hire, if you have people that you can conspire with, if you have relationships where one person can make the effort and you can share that one effort and you get that time back, it's just brilliant. So see all the ways that you can use that time best when it feels like you have no time. I made mention to Jeff too, one of the classes that one of the trainings that I put together is how to create a lead now just because of some of the vendor partner relationships that I've had so much business come in from over the years, and open house strategies and scripts, etc. So get with people who are doing really well right now, taking advantage of a down market, if they want to label it as such. I'm saying, hell yes, this is my kind of market.
So weeding out the people that aren't doing the work, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you a quick story to end with, just maybe for your mindset. When I got into business, it was 2005. I had $40 in my bank account by the time I paid the MLS. I had no money and I was trying to put food on the table. I'd worked as a paraeducator, making $11,000 a year, and I was dead broke. And I got in, and like I said, everybody in that market, the phone was ringing. They'd just pick it up, they write an offer. They got out of practice of nurturing their VIPs, of being in relationship with people and looking for new business because they had business. And that's what I see now. And we as a team fell into that a little bit too. And we just have not, we have client events, but anyways. So in that market, when they all of a sudden their phone quit ringing, I was in the practice of picking up the phone because I had just gotten in business and I was trying to build a database. I started by pointing my business. Once again, you set your goal, right? What you focus on are going to be your results. I always wanted to be a global realtor. So all my business cards, how I handle myself, my elevator pitch, everything was that I serve local, national, and global clients, right? And when the phone stopped ringing for all the other agents, all of a sudden, my phone started ringing and they said, "Hey, Mallina, my local realtor couldn't get my home sold. What can you do for me?" Right? And I ended up selling a $2.5 million horse property in a down market to a cash buyer out of Costa Rica, right? And we just started that trend, and we were able to have that conversation more and more. And you don't need to do that. You can be new in the business. So if you're brand new, 4 days in, use your team, use your brokerage, use your lender's business, say you're affiliated with all these rock stars, and use their numbers. So it doesn't have to be your numbers. But when you are focused on one, the results are going to come. When I built out the team, same thing. We brought in a team and we just led with, this is what we're going to do. This is the goal. And we just built it to the goal. It doesn't matter what market you're in. You can succeed 110%. In these markets, this is where you will stand out as the expert if you choose to. But the things that were listed about getting in your way, it's a reality that there's a shift in the market. But if you shift your mindset to make it your market, you will win market share, you will win relationships, and you will be in business for as long as you choose to be in business. So I truly believe in the mindset. Go get it. It's a brilliant time to be in the middle of our market.
I love it. Thanks so much, Mallina. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing all this great information. And we'll definitely talk about getting that other seminar up and running as well on generating leads too. Sounds like a really good one that I'd love to be a part of and learn what your secrets are over there. Although I think I know some of them.
You do. You do. It's all relationship, truly, you guys. Get out and get in relationship. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. And Sarah, thanks for being the backup as you guys got me going in techie. And it was nice meeting you guys here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And then I know that somebody had asked about the slide, so I'll make sure that Isaac, Jeff and I both know Isaac. I'll make sure that we can pass those out, and we'd love to share. We always want to help people grow their businesses and their lives.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Awesome. We'll have a recording. We'll send out Mallina's contact information again via email after this is over. And if anyone has any questions or wants to talk to Mallina about coaching as well, I think it would be a great opportunity to get into that too. Thank you everyone for jumping on. Really appreciate you all. Have a great week and let's rock it out the last quarter of the year.
Love it. Bye guys.
Ciao. Bye.